Hey, this is Jason Johnson here on my YouTube channel. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. So I didn't expect to do this tonight, but as you know, everybody has seen the news. The United States is currently, has just recently bombed Iran. This has huge implications for everybody. So I'm just going to do this really quick. Three important things for everybody to know and understand. Please like, subscribe, and share. This is going to be an ongoing conversation, and frankly, one that I'm very unhappy about. So I'm going to start with this very quickly. Question number one, are we in World War III? I see comedians laughing about it, people sort of gallows humor. Are we actually in the beginning of World War III? That's question number one. That's the first thing. Question number two, how did we actually get here? How do we get to this current situation? What are we actually going to be able to do about it? And number three, what is this going to mean for you as an individual? Remember, like, subscribe, and share. This extended conversation is going to be on my YouTube channel. This first minute's just going to show up on Instagram, and we'll get started. So first off, are we in World War III? I'm not trying to be funny, and I don't think this is hyperbolic, and I can't stand people who suddenly become Middle East experts in the middle of this. I am a domestic policy person. I am an Americanist. My doctorate is in American politics, political science, and I have a master's degree in comparative politics. This is international and foreign relations, and this is history. But I can tell you this. This could potentially be a global conflict. It could be a global conflict. I don't know how long it would last, but everyone needs to understand how most world wars happened, right? If you look at the First World War, it happened because Archduke Franz Ferdinand got shot, and this country had an alliance with this country, and this country, and this country, and basically everybody ends up fighting because of sort of a series of dominoes of who is connected to who and who is militarily obligated to support somebody else. That's how we got World War II, right? The United States got involved because, Pearl Harbor and Japan attacked us, but you already had Japan sort of in alliances with Germany, and Germany had their alliances with Italy and everything else like that. So again, you had a series of alliances that made people work together. So what would make this a World War III situation? Well, you have Israel, which attacked Iran. Israel's claim is Iran was, going to get a nuclear weapon. We'll talk about that more in point two of how we got here. But the United States is allied with Israel. The United States made these bombing attacks on Iran because of what Israel wanted and what Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu in particular were asking for. And that is an alliance. Now, by that alone, that's just two countries attacking Iran. That's not going to give you World War III. World War III would be what happens if Iran strikes back at the United States, meaning hits a U.S. military target, perhaps somewhere in the Middle East, and then NATO feels obligated to assist the United States in fighting back against Iran. That would be World War III. The reality is, J.D. Vance and Donald Trump have been so crappy and insulting to the rest of NATO, I don't know that NATO would necessarily come to the United States' defense, to be honest with you right now. Now, the other possibility is Iran, they ain't doing this solo. Iran has relationships with Russia. Iran provides materials to Russia, which Russia then sort of constructs in Moscow to fight the war in Ukraine. So the Russians aren't entirely happy about Iran getting bombed. And China provides weaponry and assistance to Iran. If China and Russia felt like they needed to come to Iran's defense, and they were to send drones or they were to send weapons attacking American installations, attacking NATO installations, that gives you World War III. Is any of that going to happen? Nobody knows. I have spent most of this evening since Donald Trump's speech on television with Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance standing behind him, completely unaware of how dangerous the situation is. I don't think they know. Nobody knows how far this can go. So, number one, are we in World War III? I would say not right now. Could we be in World War III? That is a possibility. Number two, really quickly, for basics, how the hell did we get here? We got here because, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this viral clip from The Daily Show, because Benjamin Netanyahu, since 1996, has been saying, Iran is close to getting a nuclear weapon. Iran is close to getting a nuclear weapon. We have to stop them. We have to stop them. That has been his white whale, right? That he's Captain Ahab. He's got to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. We're not going to get into the philosophy as whether Iran should be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. I mean, they probably should. Iran was at one point part of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Iran has actually had as many, if not more, inspectors in their country than most other places. And Iran actually had a deal that was set up by President Barack Obama to sort of limit and monitor their sort of nuclear power development, right? Enriched uranium, et cetera, et cetera. But Donald Trump threw that deal out in 2018. When that deal was in place, Iran was actually very, very slow in developing enriched uranium. That was the whole point of Obama's deal. Obama was like, look, we're just going to stall this out for 15 or 20 years. But Trump got involved and he said, no, it's a bad deal. And so once that happened, Joe Biden couldn't resurrect the deal when he beat Trump in 2020. And when Trump got back in office in 2024, he and Netanyahu were pretty much working together saying, yeah, we want to bomb Iran anyway. So we got here through a combination of American aggression, American sort of being attached to the hip to Israel when it comes to international conflict, and the destruction of the United States as a reliable negotiation partner. So that's how we got here. If Israel does not bomb Iran over the last couple of weeks, we're probably not in this situation. If the United States didn't bomb Iran 2 days before we had scheduled negotiations, we're probably not in this situation, but we are in this situation right now. So that is how we got here. It's also important to understand that Iran, we're not having a conversation about, moral rights or wrongs here. We're saying that Iran didn't want this, and there was no indicator that Iran was making any sort of aggressive moves towards the United States or Israel or anybody else like that. We didn't get here because there was some imminent threat. We got here because of something that Benjamin Netanyahu has been trying to do for 30 years, right? We got here because, basically we tore up any treaty. Now, number 3, what impact is this going to have on you, regular American citizen? I'm going to tell you right now that the immediate thing we're going to see is a rise in gas prices. Iran is like 25% of all of the world's crude oil. They have said that they may, block pathways for oil to be delivered. They already have sanctions on them. They'll probably start limiting oil that goes to other people. So right off the bat, you've got a situation where a lot of people are going to be affected. Right? It's going to raise bills. It's going to raise crude oil costs. That's the immediate situation that we're going to be facing. The second situation that we're facing is domestic. And this is the part that I need everybody to understand. I need everybody to understand. If you've been watching my videos, you've seen me talk about this with what's happening in Los Angeles, with the court ruling on Friday that basically a judge said that Donald Trump can use the National Guard and weaponize him and whatever he wants. If the United States has a state of war, and remember, Congress is supposed to declare war, but no president has listened to that in a zillion years. Under our current circumstances, what you're going to see is this war will be used as an opportunity for Donald Trump to squelch even more dissent in this country. If you thought that what was happening now was bad, with basically weaponizing ICE to arrest or beat up anybody who stands against him, if you thought that moving 700 troops and Marines into Los Angeles was bad, imagine what this president will do once he can say that we're actually at war. That's what we're facing right now. The domestic challenges that we will face, the ease with which authoritarianism can take hold once there's an enemy, because then Donald Trump can say, oh, well, we are in a state of emergency. He was lying before when he was trying to say, oh, we're in a state of emergency. He was lying, we've got too many immigrants. No. But now he can say, we're at war. I have to use ICE to get rid of people who might have connection. I have to throw people in jail who have spoken out against who might be a danger to this country. So that is what we're facing. So quick recap, as I said. Number 1, are we in World War III? Not right now. We could be, depending on how you define it, depending on what happens over the next couple weeks. Number 2, how did we get here? Because Bibi Netanyahu and Israel have been wanting to do this for 30-something years because Donald Trump is compliant with them and because the deal that we had with Iran got torn up when it probably shouldn't have been because Obama had them on a pathway, had Iran on a pathway where this wouldn't have been a conflict. Number three, what impact does it have on you? It's going to raise your gas prices, possibly have troops deployed, and very seriously runs the risk of an increasing authoritarian hold by this administration as they will use an actual war emergency powers to oppress people, oppress speech, arrest folks, arrest investigative reporters, and everything else like that. This is, by all practical purposes, a terrible, terrible day in American history. I will be talking about this again tomorrow. Thanks so much for your support. Please like, subscribe, and share. Put this out there because I know a lot of people are going to be talking about this for the next couple of days and they want a simple explanation. And I say this as a final warning. Don't trust people out there who say they're foreign policy experts and don't know anything about foreign policy. Don't trust people who say they're Iran experts out there who don't know anything about Iran. Trust people who actually talk about the thing that they're experts in, like I just did here. Talk to you soon.